Let's be honest for a moment and talk about something most men don't want to admit. Because the truth is that a huge number of men today waste months, sometimes even years of their lives chasing women who were never truly interested in them from the very beginning, and instead of seeing the signs clearly, they choose to ignore them, excuse cold behavior, and convince themselves that she's just busy, confused, or that with enough patience she'll eventually come around. What most men fail to understand is that attraction isn't complicated or mysterious, and women are not confused when it comes to who they want. Because when a woman is genuinely interested in you, she makes it clear through her actions. And when she's not, she also makes that clear, just in quiet, subtle ways that men often refuse to see because facing the truth is more painful than holding on to false hope. I'm not here to give you comforting lies or feel-good dating advice that keeps you chasing illusions and feeding your ego just enough to stay stuck, because the modern dating world is already full of half-truths that tell men to try harder, wait longer, or prove their value to someone who has already decided how she sees them. The reality is that if a woman doesn't want you, it's not because you didn't send the right message, didn't show enough interest, or didn't wait long enough for her to figure things out, but because deep down she never saw you as a romantic option in the first place, and no amount of effort or persistence will change that. This is where most men lose their self-respect, because they believe that persistence will eventually flip the switch, that more attention, more patience, and more emotional investment will somehow change her mind, when in reality, all it does is slowly lower her respect for you and push you further into a position you can't recover from. In this video, I'm going to break down 8 clear and undeniable behaviors that reveal when a woman is not into you, not theories or opinions, but real-world signs that show up consistently and quietly. And if you recognize even a few of these in your own experiences, the smartest move isn't to chase harder or try to fix things, but to walk away early with your self-respect intact. So if you're ready to stop guessing, stop wasting time, and finally see the truth for what it is, let's strip away the illusions and get into it. Point 1. She stops respecting your time. When a woman is genuinely interested in you, one of the first things she naturally respects is your time, because time is something people only protect and value when they care about the person they're giving it to, and they don't casually waste it or treat it as something that's unlimited. But when a woman is not into you, that respect slowly disappears, and you'll notice it not through dramatic rejection, but through small, consistent patterns that most men choose to ignore, such as her showing up late without apologizing, canceling plans at the last minute, or taking hours, sometimes days, to reply to a simple message while still being active everywhere else. Here's the uncomfortable truth most men avoid. People always make time for what they want, and when a woman truly wants you, you won't have to remind her, chase her, or wonder where you stand, because she'll naturally find ways to fit you into her schedule, no matter how busy her life seems on the surface. A woman who isn't interested, on the other hand, will keep pushing you lower and lower on her priority list, while still keeping you close enough to respond when it suits her, creating just enough hope to keep you waiting without ever giving you real consistency. The danger is that many men excuse this behavior by telling themselves she's stressed, overwhelmed, or going through a phase. But while life can get busy for anyone, repeated cancellations, constant delays, and slow responses are not accidents. They are clear indicators of low interest. And the moment you tolerate this behavior without setting boundaries or walking away, you unknowingly teach her that your time isn't valuable. And once a woman learns that you're willing to wait indefinitely, she has no reason to change how she treats you. At that point, what started as patience slowly turns into desperation, and desperation never creates attraction, it quietly destroys it. Point 2. Her phone becomes more interesting than you. When a woman is genuinely interested in you, her attention is naturally drawn toward you, because attraction creates presence, focus, and a desire to be fully engaged in the moment rather than distracted by everything else happening around her. But when she's not into you, you'll notice a subtle shift where her phone suddenly becomes the most important thing in the room as she scrolls through social media, replies to messages, or laughs at notifications while you're sitting right there trying to connect with someone who is already mentally elsewhere. This isn't about her being rude or unaware, and it's not because she can't put the phone down for a few minutes, but because she doesn't feel the need to, since you don't hold enough emotional or romantic weight in that moment to command her full attention. Attention is the purest form of attraction, and when a woman can give long stretches of focus to Instagram, TikTok, group chats, or other people, but can't give you even a short window of undivided presence, she's communicating something very clear through her actions rather than her words. Many men make the mistake of tolerating this behavior because they don't want to seem insecure or controlling. So they sit quietly, hoping she'll eventually look up, engage, and reconnect. But by accepting this dynamic, they quietly accept being second place in her mind. A woman who values you will naturally want to make you feel heard and seen, often putting her phone away without being asked, turning it face down, or giving you her full attention because being with you feels more important than whatever is happening on a screen. A woman who doesn't feel that attraction will keep you competing with her phone, and that's a competition you will never win. Because once you accept that position, you reinforce the idea that your presence doesn't require respect or focus. Point 3. She's always too busy for basic effort. One of the clearest signs that a woman is not genuinely interested is when even the smallest amount of effort toward you suddenly feels like too much for her, and simple things like replying to a message, making plans, or having a short conversation start to feel like obligations rather than choices. Everyone gets busy in life, and responsibilities, work, and stress are real, but people always find time for what they truly care about. And when a woman likes you, she will naturally look for ways to stay connected, whether that means texting you during a break, calling you while running errands, or planning ahead just to make sure she gets to see you. When she's not interested, however, being busy becomes a convenient excuse that she leans on constantly, not because her schedule is impossible, but because it allows her to keep distance without having to directly reject you or have an uncomfortable conversation. You'll notice that this same busy schedule somehow never stops her from spending time with friends, posting regularly on social media, going out, or binge watching shows, which makes it clear that the issue isn't a lack of time, but a lack of priority. Many men fall into the trap of waiting patiently, telling themselves that once things calm down, she'll finally have space for them. But the truth is that when someone truly wants to see you, they don't wait for life to slow down. They make it happen despite the chaos. By continuing to chase someone who consistently puts in zero effort, you're not showing understanding or patience, but teaching her that your presence requires no effort at all. And once that dynamic is set, it rarely changes in your favor. Point 4. Conversations feel like pulling teeth. When a woman is truly interested in you, conversation doesn't feel forced or calculated because attraction naturally creates curiosity, emotional engagement, and a genuine desire to know more about the person she's talking to, which is why the exchange flows easily without you having to constantly think about what to say next. But when she's not into you, talking to her slowly starts to feel exhausting, as every question you ask is met with short, dry responses, every attempt at humor is rewarded with a polite smile instead of real laughter, and the energy in the conversation feels flat, lifeless, and one-sided. What's really happening beneath the surface is that she's not emotionally invested in connecting with you, and instead of thinking about how to deepen the interaction, she's simply trying to get through the conversation without creating expectations or leading you on. You might also notice that she almost never initiates conversations on her own. And when she does, it's usually out of necessity rather than desire, with no real curiosity, no follow-up questions, and no effort to keep the interaction alive once it starts. Many men believe they can fix this by becoming funnier, more interesting, or more engaging, thinking that better conversation skills will eventually spark attraction. But the hard truth is that interest comes first, and conversation flows naturally, only when that interest already exists. If you constantly feel like you're carrying the entire exchange, forcing topics, and doing all the emotional work just to keep things moving, that's not a sign to try harder. It's a clear signal that she's already checked out. Point 5. She avoids being alone with you. When a woman is genuinely attracted to you, she naturally looks for opportunities to spend time with you one-on-one, because private moments are where real connection forms, and where attraction has the space to grow without distractions or outside influence. But when she's not interested, you'll notice that she consistently avoids being alone with you, choosing group settings instead, inviting other people along at the last minute, or keeping interactions limited to public, emotionally neutral environments where nothing romantic can develop. Many men misinterpret this behavior by telling themselves that she's just social, shy, or taking things slow, but the truth is simple. If a woman wants to be alone with you, she will find a way to make that happen without needing to be convinced. A woman who doesn't feel attraction will always make sure there's a buffer between you and her, because that distance helps her maintain control while avoiding the discomfort of direct rejection or emotional intimacy. The mistake many men make is settling for proximity instead of connection, thinking that just being around her, even in a group where they barely interact, somehow moves them closer to winning her over. In reality, the more time you spend in her presence without any sign of one-on-one interest, the more you reinforce the role she's already assigned you, which is comfort without attraction. And that is the fastest way to eliminate any romantic potential. If she consistently avoids private time with you, take it as the clear message it is, because chasing someone who doesn't want intimacy with you doesn't create attraction. It quietly confirms that it isn't there. Point 6. Her body language screams disinterest. You can often learn far more about how a woman feels towards you from her body language than from anything she says, because while words can be polite, vague, or misleading, the body tends to reveal the truth without thinking or filtering. When a woman is interested in you, her body naturally leans in your direction, her posture opens up, her eye contact feels warm and steady, and she often finds small, unconscious ways to close the distance, whether it's through subtle touches, relaxed gestures, or simply positioning herself toward you. When she's not interested, however, her body begins to do the opposite, even if her words remain friendly, as she angles herself away from you, keeps her arms crossed, leans back to create space, and avoids sustained eye contact in a way that signals emotional and physical withdrawal. You may notice that when you move closer, she subtly steps back, shifts her weight away, or redirects her attention elsewhere, creating a feeling of tension rather than comfort. And these small movements are rarely accidental. Many men choose to ignore these signals because they focus only on what she's saying, telling themselves she's just being polite, shy, or playing hard to get, but body language rarely lies. And when someone is physically pulling away, it's because their mind has already decided. Chasing a woman whose body language consistently says, "keep your distance," is not confidence or persistence, but a quiet form of desperation that erodes attraction faster than almost anything else. The moment you learn to respect these signals instead of fighting them is the moment you begin protecting your self-respect, because attraction can't be forced, and someone who doesn't feel it will always show you, even if they never say it out loud. Point 7. She flirts with others in front of you. When a woman is genuinely interested in you, she naturally directs her attention toward you when you're together, because attraction creates focus, and she wants you to feel chosen rather than uncertain about where you stand. But when she's not into you, she has no problem openly giving that attention to other men right in front of you, whether that means laughing a little too hard at someone else's jokes, maintaining playful eye contact, touching another man's arm during conversation, or engaging in subtle flirtation while you're standing there watching. Sometimes this behavior isn't even meant to be cruel, because in her mind, you're not someone whose feelings she needs to protect in a romantic sense, and other times it's a quiet signal meant to communicate that she doesn't see you as a potential partner without having to say it directly. Many men misinterpret this as a challenge, believing they need to compete harder, be more impressive, or step up their game. But attraction isn't a competition you can win through effort once her interest is already directed elsewhere. A woman who values you will never make you feel like you're fighting for her attention, because genuine interest removes the need for competition, while openly flirting with others creates uncertainty and reinforces distance. If she consistently makes you feel replaceable or invisible by focusing on other men when you're around, she's showing you exactly where you stand. And the most powerful move you can make in that moment is not to compete, but to walk away and preserve your self-respect. Point 8. She keeps you around for convenience, not desire. One of the most subtle yet damaging signs that a woman is not truly into you is when she keeps you around not because she desires you, but because you provide comfort, attention, validation, or help without requiring anything emotional from her in return. She may text you when she's bored, stressed, lonely, or needs someone to listen, but when it comes to spending quality time together, making real plans, or moving things forward, she suddenly becomes distant, unavailable, or vague. This creates a confusing dynamic where you feel close to her emotionally, yet stuck in the same place romantically, because while she enjoys what you give, she has no intention of giving you what you want. Many men mistake this situation for progress, telling themselves that at least she's talking to them, opening up, or relying on them, without realizing that emotional access without attraction often leads straight into a dead end. The uncomfortable truth is that a woman can care about you, enjoy your presence, and appreciate your support while still having zero romantic interest in you. And as long as you continue to provide value without boundaries, there is no incentive for her to change that dynamic. What makes this especially dangerous is that it slowly drains your energy and self-worth because you're investing emotionally in someone who has already decided how far the relationship will go while you're hoping for something that will never arrive. The moment you realize you're being kept around for convenience rather than desire is the moment you need to step back, because staying in that position doesn't make you patient or understanding. It keeps you trapped in a role that prevents you from finding someone who actually wants you. If we're being completely honest, when a woman truly wants you, you'll never have to overanalyze her behavior, decode mixed signals, or guess where you stand, because genuine interest doesn't create confusion, it creates clarity. The problem is that many men ignore the signs they just saw because walking away feels harder than holding on to hope, even when that hope is slowly draining their confidence, time, and self-respect. Learning to walk away from low interest isn't about bitterness, anger, or resentment, but about understanding your own value and refusing to invest in situations where effort is one-sided and attraction doesn't exist. The moment you stop chasing women who don't want you is the moment you create space in your life for someone who actually does, someone who doesn't make you question your worth or compete for basic attention. If any of these signs felt familiar, I want you to be honest with yourself and reflect on the situations where you ignored them in the past, because awareness is the first step toward real change. Share your experience in the comments, whether you walked away or stayed longer than you should have, because your story might be the clarity someone else needs to hear. And if you want more content like this that focuses on self-respect, clarity, and real growth in life and relationships, make sure you subscribe, because in the next video, we're going to expose the manipulative tactics people use to keep someone emotionally invested after attraction is already gone. And it's something you need to understand before it costs you more time.